Microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. It is great to have you along. The ICE is targeting Chicago. So this is the big story this morning. Operation Midway Blitz is what's going on. Have Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and the mayor of Chicago have doubled down on their sanctuary city policies. More on that in a moment. We'll go to other media for better coverage than what you get from Axios. Pritzker saying on X that crackdown was not about crime fighting. That requires support and coordination, yet we've experienced nothing like that over the past several weeks. You don't want to work with the federal government. Stop lying to us. Stop lying to your constituents. You don't want to work with the federal government. You don't want to enforce law and order. This is just absolutely amazing. So, and Axios is just, they're, lapping it all up, sharing the lie. Let's take a look at some other reporting on what's happening, because that just started this morning. And here you go, local reporting. The ICE operation crackdown beginning in Chicago. You got local leaders pushing back, which I was just talking about. So here you go. I think, here's a Chicago immigration attorney. People that have been productive in society and people who have worked in society are now afraid to even leave their homes. Oh, my question is, are they law-abiding citizens? Did they obey our country's laws when they came into the country? Or did they just decide that they could come in illegally? I get so frustrated with these. Well, they're legal, they're otherwise law-abiding, which many of them are. Agreed. They're otherwise law-abiding. Why didn't they get themselves straight? Why didn't they correct it? You have plenty of time. You came into the country illegally. Okay. Why didn't you correct it? Why didn't you deal with it at the time? Why didn't you try to enter the country the correct way? This just gets to be too much for me. People are afraid to go to court. Understand that. They should be. At this point, they should be. People are afraid to travel. People are afraid to go to work. People are afraid to send their kids to school. This is an ICE official now, Marcos Charles, saying we're out here doing our operations with our surgeon mainly to catch the criminal alien population that sanctuary city policies attract, he said. We want to get them out of the city, make the public safe, help with the national security, make sure that everybody in the community is safe, no matter what they feel or their political views. We're here to make everybody safe, they said. So that has begun. It's getting underway in Chicago. And it's a little bit mind-boggling to me as I watch this. It's not trying to diss on people who've come into the country illegally, not trying to put them down, not trying to scare them. But this is what it looks like when you enforce the law. We have, for too long, ignored especially immigration law, and the Democrats have been front and center when it comes to ignoring immigration law, pretending like it doesn't exist, then pretending that, that illegal immigration doesn't also result in crime and other problems that are associated with that. There's just a whole host of issues that are connected to that. I'm not saying that illegal immigration is the only source of crime, but I'm saying there is no doubt that it is connected, that crime is connected to illegal immigration. And I think you see that more and more. Certainly, as we were talking about the stabbing of that Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina, this is a story from the BBC within the last few hours talking about this. So the video was released, and you may have seen this. The president sending love and hope to Ms. Zarutska's family, saying that the killing was horrible. There are evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country, Trump said. So you got people outraged. The family writing that she fled the war in Ukraine along with her mother and siblings a couple of years ago and had quickly embraced her new life in the United States. She was a gifted and passionate artist, loved animals, happiest when surrounded by family and loved ones. So they, as you can imagine, they're all, distraught, as anybody would be, any family would be. Governor in North Carolina is saying he's appalled by the footage. We need more cops on the beat to keep people safe. And he called on the North Carolina legislature to pass a law enforcement package to address vacancies in our state and local agencies so they can stop these horrific crimes, hold violent criminals accountable. So BBC focusing on Republicans and right-wing commentators, guilty as charged, have raised questions about the role of the judicial system in the incident, including why was Brown free, despite reportedly having an extensive criminal record? You've heard me ask that question. Convicted of armed robbery, felony larceny, break and enter. Spent 8 years in jail for robbery with a dangerous weapon. Suffers from mental health issues and is homeless. So the mayor is saying, and I agree with you, yeah, you've got to address these repeat offenders who don't face consequences for their actions. And that's part of why I talked about cashless bail on the program this morning. Cashless bail is part of that. No consequences. The suspect's mother didn't want to be identified. She believes the attack could have been prevented. She's saying he's schizophrenic. And even she believes that the attack could have been prevented. North Carolina Representative Brendan Jones saying that the death is the result of decades of Democrat DAs and sheriffs putting their woke agendas above public safety. Violent criminals commit crimes with impunity while families live in fear. Absolutely. Now get a load of this. Got a Republican congressman in Florida saying he wants to introduce legislation to hold judges accountable when violent repeat offenders, if they commit new crimes, hold those judges accountable, is what he's saying. The 12-plus judges that released DeCarlos Brown Jr. should have their day in court too. So start going after the judges if you want to have an impact and really make some changes. That's quite an aggressive point of view that he is talking about. The president, I didn't talk about this morning, but the president yesterday, let me grow the size of that here for you a bit. The president spoke at the Museum of the Bible yesterday, emphasized the role of faith in America. He launched the America Praise Initiative I saw zero coverage of this today zero coverage of this. Even among outlets that generally I appreciate, zero coverage. President Trump reaffirmed our nation's founding principles. When faith gets weaker, our country seems to get weaker. When faith gets stronger, good things happen for our country. It's amazing the way it seems to work that way. Under the Trump administration, we're defending our rights and restoring our identity as a nation under God. We are one nation under God, and we always will be. He called for Americans to come together in prayer. We don't seem to come together in much of anything these days, unfortunately. I'm blaming myself here as much as anyone else. This is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. More than 70 faith organizations and churches have joined together to participate in the American Praise Initiative. President previewed new rules protecting Americans' rights to pray in public schools. So, new guidance for the Department of Education highlighted the importance of faith in God. You never hear this from the legacy media. Defended our American values of faith. Welcomed a 12-year-old California student who was forced in school to read material contrary to his religious beliefs. Yeah, this is a 12-year-old. You may have read about him, forced to read a book to a kindergarten student promoting a message of radical gender ideology that ran contrary to his religious belief. He's 12 years old. And this is what we're forcing. See, that's indoctrination. There's no other word for that. That is indoctrination. Kids being indoctrinated into that kind of mentality. So that was yesterday. I wanted to share that. And then I got a real kick out of this story as well. It's just, especially having spent, my career in radio. I have a great love for radio. That's why I'm in radio. It's just a medium that I really appreciate. I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy, even outside of the radio station, when I run into folks. I was in Fairway again the other day, and one of the folks who works there, who I've talked to at Fairway a number of times, recognized, finally spoke up and started visiting about the show a little bit. And I just had the nicest conversation with him. I really, really appreciate that. So anyway, radio is just where it's at for me. And I am been really fortunate to have been able to make a career in radio. So here's a Florida radio station borrowing Trump to be its face and name. There you go. Welcome to Trump country. And I'm like, I wish I had thought of that. I wish Trump in a cowboy hat, Trump country, and they're playing music. That just absolutely cracks me up. I love seeing that. Okay, I'm going to go back to comments here. And I want to touch on some of the things that you guys were saying. And Brian started out here saying good morning, talked about Dusty Johnson on the program yesterday. He says, today he spoke with me, a garbage man. I wonder what that's like for Mr. Belfrage. We're all normal, man. We're all everyday folks. That's why I'm always talking about Main Street. I want to be on Main Street. I'm like any of you. I just happen to have a job unlike many others. That's all it is. It's my career and I love it. And I'm not trying to downplay that, but it's my job. I'm like anybody else. I'm just like you. And then Steve is just so incredibly kind here. He says, just another day in the life of a radio guy. He talks to everyone and values your opinion as much, if not more, than politicians. I know I do, he says. And then Steve came back and said, what I find most telling is I truly believe Greg doesn't consider himself a celebrity. I don't. I'm just a guy working a job. I really am. This is my job. Is my job different than most? Absolutely. There aren't a lot of guys, especially in this town. There aren't a lot of people doing what I do. In fact, talk radio right now, Kello is it. There's no other talk radio station in well, I should say news talk radio station. There are other guys doing it well as part of their shows and whatnot, but we're the only news talk radio station in town. But no, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a guy working his job. And then Steve saying he's a celebrity to me, though. That's why I love all of you. You guys are too kind to me. You've heard me say that I don't know how many times. You guys are just incredibly kind to me. I say it on the air. I say it here because I really believe that. It's one of the reasons why when my alarm goes off at 2:45 in the morning every day, it's when the first one goes off, and most days the second one doesn't. I'm usually awake with the first alarm. But getting up at 2:45, stinks. I don't enjoy that so much. I do enjoy being off, though, generally by 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, having my afternoon to myself. I do enjoy that. But as I get up and I get to hang with folks that are incredibly kind to me on the air, on social media, here, it's terrific. And I really appreciate all of you. And I can't say that enough. Denise, I think I value the garbage man opinion more than the politicians. You're not the only one, Denise. She says most politicians are speaking out of both sides of their mouth. So anyway, I had to catch up on some of those comments. And I wanted to thank you because you folks, I couldn't do what I do were it not for all of you. I've said that many times. And if you know of other folks that would enjoy what we do, please bring them into our family. I'm always hoping to build the following. And now the radio, I know what to do to promote the radio show on the radio. So I know what to do there. But I had a conversation with someone yesterday about growing my YouTube page and, growing this and what we're doing, getting, being able to increase the number of followers and the interaction and all of that. I feel like a fish out of water, but I am trying and I'm interested because I find great value in the interactions that I have with you, whether it's on the air or whether it's here. So thank you so much for being a part of what we do here every day. I'll ask only one thing of you, though. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there for today. You have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute for the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks whose comments I was sharing with you a few minutes ago. Let's leave it there today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, I'm underground and gone.